Hello and welcome to another edition of Kogi in Focus, a weekly program designed to give updates of all happenings across Kogi State, 3 senatorial zones, including the state capital, Lokoja. For your event to be captured in our weekly program, do call us via the phone number displayed on your screen. You can also contact us through any of our social media handle also. I am Khadijat Mohammed. In today's edition, Governor Bello swears in acting state judges. Governor Bello calls for continued peace and unity amongst Northerners. This and many more when we return. Don't go away. Welcome back. Kogi State Governor Bello says Nigeria's northern region must have a collective developmental agenda if it's desire to recover from the underdevelopment it is experiencing. Governor Bello said this in Lokoja when he received a delegation of the AHMADU Bello Memorial Foundation.
The group, led by the Secretary General of the Foundation and former Governor of Kano State, Ibrahim Shekarau, made a donation of 1,500 face masks to the state, while it also officially launched a sensitization campaign against rape and other gender-based violence in the state.
Therefore, Your Excellency, and the government and the people of Kogi State will join us in the campaign against this antisocial behavior. So the North is currently at crossroads with too many challenges, beginning from begging for solutions.
Governor Bello said that the late Northern Premier AHMADU Bello was a leader who united the North as one indivisible entity with his sincerity, uprightness, and selfless leadership qualities. He also said AHMADU Bello was neither religiously nor ethnically biased.
This man united the whole of the North. He joined hands together with other Pan-Nigerians, the Zeeks of this world, the Awolowas of this world. And today we have an enclave called Nigeria.
Governor Bello said the late Northern Nigerian Premier virtues have served as guides for his own style of leadership.
Sir AHMADU Bello preaches equity, fairness, and justice amongst humanity. That we try to emulate here in Kogi State.
Governor Bello pledged the continued support of Kogi State to the AHMADU Bello Foundation and told his visitors to take the message of unity to every nook and cranny of northern Nigeria. Former Kano State Governor Ibrahim Shekarau acknowledged the efforts of the government and people to the foundation, both in cash and kind.
Your Excellency, the government and good people of Kogi State for fully redeeming its pledge as promised during its launch effort in 2009. Every state was to contribute 250 million. And I want to very proudly say that Kogi State was one of the very first states to redeem its pledge in total.
He said Kogi State can count on the support of the foundation in all it does and will continue to play the role of a catalyst for peace and unity in northern Nigeria.
The Kogi State Executive is to present a bill to the State House of Assembly for the establishment of another state-owned university at Osara. The Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fanwo, who made this known to journalists after this week's Executive Council meeting in Lokoja, said the move is part of the Bello administration's overall developmental agenda.
The Commissioner explained the rationale behind having another state-owned university.
Approval was given for the transmission of the bill establishing the Confluence University of Science and Technology, Osara, Kogi State. The university is going to focus on science and technology-based courses to be able to take our state to the next level. It is pertinent for the state to have a university that will be able to feed the industries, especially the Ajaokuta State Company that is coming on board very strongly.
Issues surrounding education and water resources were also discussed at the meeting.
It requires for a political office holder going back to a class and say, today, I'm going to teach. But peradventure, you've been out of school for a long time as a political appointee, and you may not have that competence or capacity to teach. You could just go and tell them the story of your life. It's been approved today, and we are going to develop the framework with which this program will run.
The Exco approved a very good contract for Kogi Central for them to be able to get a very potable water. The project will be on Osara Dam, just a reticulation from Osara Dam down to Okene local government, Adavi and Okehi.
The State Executive Council used the opportunity to congratulate the newly sworn-in State Acting Chief Judge and Acting President of the State Customary Court of Appeal on their appointments.
The Ebira People's Association has commended the Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello and his team for the proposed establishment of Confluence University of Science and Technology, Osara, in Kogi State. In a statement by Abdurrahman Adeiza, President General of the EPA, the group appreciated the government of the state and the governor for being foresighted and proactive. Adeiza says the proposed bill for the establishment of Confluence University of Science and Technology, Osara, is an action that is coming at the nick of time when Ajaokuta is about to be activated. He says EPA has always agitated for the establishment of a specialized university in Kogi Central to provide the needed skilled manpower for the steel industry, aside other social benefits. It added that the move will not only checkmate unemployment, stem criminality, but insecurity can be reduced to the barest minimum in the state. The EPA president appeals to all Kogi citizenry, especially members of the State House of Assembly, to be united and cooperate with the action of the government of the state so that they can actualize the mantra of doing more. He congratulates the good people of Kogi State, the government of the state, and Governor Yahya Bello for this giant stride, and pray God to continue to grant state leaders the wisdom to think right and act right. Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello has sworn in Justice Henry Adebola Olusiyi as the acting chief judge of the state. Also sworn in at the oath-taking ceremony in Government House, Lokoja, was Justice Bayo Olowosegun as the acting president of the State Customary Court of Appeal. Governor Bello told the two justices that much is expected from them based on their experience.
That we preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
Governor Bello said the appointments were based on the fact that they were the most senior judges in the court to fill the vacuum created by the death of their late predecessors. He urged them to bring their experience to bear in the course of their duties.
We have no doubt that they will provide excellent leadership for our judiciary and the state in general. We therefore charge them to execute all the functions of their respective offices with erudition and the fear of Almighty God.
The new state acting chief judge, Henry Olusiyi, expressed gratitude to Governor Bello for acting timelessly to fill the vacant positions created by the sudden death of the former judges and for his overall favorable disposition towards the affairs of the judiciary.
I want to assure Your Excellency that at all times we will be fair, we will be just, and our decisions will continue to be equitable.
Legal luminaries, top government officials, family members, and well-wishers from within and beyond the state graced the occasion. Justice Olusiyi becomes the state acting chief judge following the June 28 death of the immediate past Chief Judge Nasiru Ajana. In similar fashion, Justice Bayo Olowosegun assumes office after the death of the immediate past President, State Customary Court of Appeal Ibrahim Atadoga on the June 22.
If you're just joining us, this is Kogi in Focus, your weekly news review of happenings in and around Kogi, the Nigeria conflict state. For your information, contribution, and your event coverage, please contact us via the phone number or any of our social media handles displayed on your screen. The Kogi State Bureau of Land and Urban Development has commenced demolition of illegal structures in Lokoja, the state capital, warning residents to ensure that they seek approval from town planning authorities before embarking on any form of building construction. The Director General of the Bureau, Nasiru Ochi, who gave the warning in Lokoja while supervising the demolition of illegal structures at Gadumo area in Lokoja, said the structures were built on water pipes, under high-tension electric wires and access roads, which contravene the state's town planning laws.
The Director General Bureau of Land and Urban Development said the rate at which illegal structures are springing up in Lokoja is a cause for concern and has to stop.
Ours is to advise you. We are not against anybody. We know what it takes for one to have a structure. Where you made a mistake and the mistake can be corrected, we will advise you in due course. But where the reverse is the case, especially in this case, there is nothing we can do because it's under high tension. You know what it means. At the same time, it's on top of the water supply pipe.
Ochi said the government has lined up programs under its urban renewal programs, repositioning the state capital for better living standards.
Especially for those who don't have approval to their building, it is still the right time for them to turn up and seek for approval. Because under our process, there's room for adjustment. In that former settlement, we are looking at giving them CO4 to their title at a discount rate.
He warned staff of the agency against engaging in shady deals, such as granting fake land titles. Government officials also commented.
There are a lot of abuse and impunity by individuals in the town. And His Excellency is out to address those impunity and to restore the state capital to what it ought to be.
We serve, we mark, we give a written notice to remove and quit. It was on the basis that they didn't respond. That is why we are here now.
The owner of one of the demolished structure, Emmanuel Ebueke, said he bought the land legally.
I bought the land from Prince Suru. It has lasted almost a year and 7 good months, and they did not come. It was last 2 months they came and put something that I should remove, which I went to their office. I begged them that even if I put this in without holding this in, I'll be processing it. Okay, what can I do now?
He said he had committed more than 7.5 million naira to the structure and called on the state government to intervene in the matter.
The Kogi state government has inaugurated an 8-member interim board to run the state health insurance agency. The Deputy Governor Edward Onoja, who inaugurated the board, said the move is in line with the government's plan to make quality preventive and curative health care to as many people as possible.
The State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Haruna Audu, said the launch of the Yahya Bello's administration's Health Care Plus in 2018 has been most beneficial to women, children, and vulnerable groups. Saka commended government for its doggedness to end health care challenges in the state.
The health insurance policy of this administration will no doubt provide the necessary succor and indemnify the people for unexpected financial expenses that arise from array of medical conditions.
The secretary of the new board and key players of the agency called for total cooperation from the government and members of the public.
The agency shall be implementing the following health plan. The formal sector health plan for the civil servant and the public servant, both state and local government, the organized private sector, the students of the tertiary institution, and the retirees. The informal sector plan will cover for those that are not working in the formal sector, particularly those in the community.
Most persons do not go to hospital not because they hate hospital, but because of the payment for drugs and other services. So this lofty scheme happening here under the able leadership of our governor, it's one of the best things that will happen to the healthcare delivery system.
The acting state chief judge, Henry Olusiyi, promised to support government's policies, while the National Labour Congress state chairman, Onueduka, urged the board and the government to ensure residents are not unfairly treated in its healthcare development plans.
What Your Excellency is doing today is a practical step to making sure that the workforce of the Kogi state government is a healthy workforce. And I want to commend the bold step being taken and being practicalized by this people-oriented government.
Workers will wish to see that those who are going to pilot the affairs of this scheme should not allow the scheme to go down the way others have gone down in other states and at the national level. As critical major stakeholders who are going to be contributors into this scheme, we wish to warn that our fund should not be toyed with, and we wish to call on government to and appeal to the government to kindly pay their own counterpart fee when approved by His Excellency, as it ought to be monthly.
The Deputy Governor, Edward Onoja, told the board members to bring their wealth of experience to bear in their new assignments.
The last few months have been times of trials for us as a state due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which has led to unprecedented rise in socio-economic distresses among families. We decided to establish Kogi State Health Insurance Agency to drastically reduce out-of-pocket expenditure on health and achieve universal health coverage.
Members of the Health Insurance Scheme Board are Abubakar Bamamaji, is the chairman of the Interim Health Insurance Scheme Board, while Adledari Adekunle is the executive secretary. Other members are Jimo Mohammed, Aino Hedrick, Onu Eduka, Sani Suleiman, Aedogban Johnson, and Dr. Zubair Kabiru. They are to start work immediately.
Register so that you can get qualitative and accessible healthcare. Thank you very much.
Suko has finally come the way of a stagnated first-class graduate of the Ibinidian University, Okada, who is of Kogi origin, as he has been awarded a scholarship of up to master's level by the Deputy Governor of Kogi State, Chief Edward Onoja. Babatunde Samuel Aina, a first-class graduate of the Ibinidian University, Okada, almost dropped out of the university following the unfortunate demise of his father in 2015 when he was in the second year of his academic pursuit. Aina was able to maintain his first-class status till graduation, but that was when the main challenge began, as the institution, based on agreement, refused to allow him to continue with life as they have held on to his result. As a determined individual ready to make something out of his life, the young Aina was not deterred as he put himself under the services of the Public Relations Office of Kogi APC and then the Protocol Department of the Office of the Deputy Governor of the state, Chief Edward Onoja. Despite his dedication to duty, Aina had approached several individuals to help defray his institution so that he could make headway without success, until the matter got the attention of the Deputy Governor, Chief Edward Onoja. On hearing of Aina's plight, the Deputy Governor, who was empathic to the plight of the young bright graduate, said, "This is the type of persons that my boss, Governor Yahya Bello, would definitely love to assist." Onoja immediately issued a check of 2.5 million naira to defray the accumulated school fees and also offered a scholarship to the graduate even up to his postgraduate master's degree level. Reacting to the development, Mr. Aina, who couldn't hide his joy, expressed gratitude to the governor and his deputy for the show of magnanimity. It could be recalled that the deputy governor last year mobilized his colleagues, friends and family to increase the award for 29 first-class graduates from Kogi East from 70,000 to 500,000 naira. Checks have confirmed that the full value of 15 million naira is already in the account to be disbursed to the 29 awardees. Reports gathered that two naval officers, a male and female, were shot dead on Thursday along Lokoja-Okene Express Road. The incident, which happened around 6 p.m., came 6 days after an army captain, GSM Abubakar, was also reported killed on the same road, while his mother and wife were reportedly kidnapped. According to reports, the officers were traveling in a Toyota Sienna bus when they were stopped, and the gunmen reportedly opened fire, killing them on the spot. The Kogi State Commissioner of Police, Ayuba Ede, who confirmed the incident to journalists, said he had sent his men to the scene of the incident to ascertain the details of how and when it happened. It could not be immediately ascertained where the naval officers were coming from or heading to when the incident happened. Those sent by the State Police Commissioner were still being expected as at the time of this report. The Kogi State Council of the Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ) has called on President Muhammadu Buhari to immediately restore military checkpoints on Okene-Lokoja-Abuja road to check the activities of bloodthirsty criminals on the road. In a statement signed by the council chairman Adeiza Mamojimo and secretary Ademu Sheidu, said the road has become a safe haven for criminals who have left tales of woes on families of their victims. The statement noted that the Osara-Irepeni axis of the road has become notorious for the activities of the bloodthirsty criminals. It also said an army captain, GSM Abubakar, driving in company of his wife, was last Sunday shot dead and his wife and mother kidnapped, while 2 naval officers were reportedly shot dead on Thursday within the same axis. The criminals, no doubt, have taken the advantage of the withdrawal of the military from the road to unleash mayhem on innocent road users with death on its trail. There is a need for the police to up their game by patrolling the road instead of creating roadblocks and preoccupying themselves with checking of vehicle particulars. The criminals take advantage of these lapses by striking in between police roadblocks. The union also urged the state government to respond to the new wave of criminality across the state. The union stressed that criminals must not be allowed to rubbish the achievement made by the current government in stemming the tide of criminality in the state. The chairman said the fight should be taken to the criminals then in their various hideouts instead of waiting for them to strike before taking actions. Kogi NGO network KONGONET has raised alarm over the growing insecurity in the state, saying they have lost confidence in the security architecture put in place by state governments to address recent upsurge in crime in Kogi State. KONGONET chairman Idris Ozovehe Muraina, in a statement on Saturday, called on the governor to change his tactics in handling security issues, as citizens in Kogi State can no longer sleep with their 2 eyes closed or travel around the state over fear of the unknown. There have been reactions against the latest security onslaught on the state. Muraina described the recent surge in the rate of crimes and criminality in Kogi State as unfortunate and sad. He, however, called for a swift response by the state security apparatus to strategize and implement Operation Clean Sweep to flush out the hoodlums and rescue their captives immediately. He said Kogi State is the transit corridor of the nation, bordered by 9 states and the FCT. The return of men of the underworld to our highways calls for serious concern. While calling for immediate security response to this ugly development, the current administration should ensure not to lose the war on combating insecurity in the state because the administration had prided itself and scored herself high on security. No wonder the governor was given the big task of leading the north-central state towards tackling insecurity. It is rather unfortunate that this is raising its ugly head at this material time in the state. It could be recalled that in the last 2 months in Kogi State, there have been bloodbaths of innocent citizens. Kogi State, through the Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fanwo, said it is a time for all of the people to come together to rededicate themselves and put their trust in the system that has earned the state's rave commendations as one of the best in the area of security. Latest onslaught against the state and the people have been unfortunate and sad. Fanwo, in a press statement made available to journalists, said the government stands with the families that lost their loved ones and breadwinners to the cowards in the gaps of criminals. They won't lose their lives in vain. The state government wishes to also allay the fears of travelers on the roads. This style is not different from the global standards which stipulates that security strategies do not become a public product, but they are doing everything a responsible government should do to ensure security of lives and property of the people. He sympathized with the armed forces for the personal loss to the men of the underworld. The losses won't bend their resolve to make Kogi State a hard place for criminals to perpetrate their heinous crimes. It is no time for anyone to spread rumors and trade blames or release travel directories that could drive fears into the people. The administration under the leadership of Governor Bello will change the narrative in a couple of days. High-level security plans and strategies have been put in place to reappraise the situation and devise new security architecture to address the ugly trend. He urges all Kogi to support the efforts, plan and security agencies in order to re-establish the capacity to ensure security across the state. Kogi State Governor Bello has extolled the women in security in Nigeria for their resilience and commitment toward ensuring a safe nation for all. The governor urged female security personnel in the country to imbibe discipline and professionalism in the discharge of their duties. Bello gave the commendation and charge during a visit to the National Institute for Security Studies, Buhari, Federal Capital Territory, this past Friday, where he attended the closing ceremony of a Special Intervention Squad course. He said the general belief that women lack the physical strength and endurance to serve in either military or paramilitary services was not tenable, as many young women in the service have demonstrated their capacity to defend the country in the maintenance of peace. The governor notes that the integration of women in the military and paramilitary organizations over the years was a welcome development, adding that it was based on the recognition of women in such endeavor that a more people-centric approach to security is necessary, given this effect of insecurity on civilians, and mostly women and children. Bello charged security agencies in the country to deploy more sophisticated gadgets in the areas of information and intelligence gathering and area surveillance. He said the security situation in the country today requires a more conciliatory approach, especially where paramilitary tasks include the protection of populations, which has led to demands to increase the number of women in maintenance of peace in the society today. He charged all security agencies to intensify effort in tackling the resurgence of criminals in the country. While responding to the commendation by the Honorable Minister for Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Talin, at the occasion for being the first governor in the history of the country to choose a female aide-de-camp, Bello said female in the services undergo equal training just like the male counterparts, noting that there shouldn't be such thing as discrimination on the basis of sex. He extolled the female officers for their focus, determination and diligence. Bello became the first and only governor in the country with female aide-de-camp when he accepted the posting of Iwanga Akaya for the position in February 2020. This is where we wrap it up on today's edition. Join us next week for another edition of Kogi in Focus. I am Khadijat Mohammed, telling you to keep doing to others what you want them to do to you. And do not forget to keep observing all COVID-19 preventive measures. Goodbye.